Hey y'all, what you're looking at here is containers, glass containers, and they have been filled with lard, just regular cooking lard. These were a gift to me from my step parents, and I have a candle that I bought from the dollar store because I don't have any wick, and we're gonna make lard candles, and we're gonna try this clay pot method to keep the greenhouse warm at night. Feels hot in here in the day. It's actually gotten up to 115 degrees when I forgot to open the windows. By the time I got out here, it was 115 degrees. Everything is open now, and let me see what the temperature is. So even with everything open, it is more than 100 degrees. It's hard for me to see because the sun's shining in my face. But I have two of these, one in the middle, and I have one over here, and they're real cheap. I've ordered some digital ones because I'm a weirdo and I want to be able to use Wi-Fi and look and see what the temperature is, even if I'm not home. But anyway, it's hot in here. Super hot. But at night, it is not hot in here anymore. At night, we're dropping down, and even though it hasn't been enough to affect what's going on here, the plant growth has not been affected that I know of. Maybe that's why some of my seeds haven't sprouted. But it's cold enough that we need something. My husband says that they're predicting some really cold weather this weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and try tonight before it gets too cold to see if these two will make 100% sure that it does not drop below. I'd like to not let it get below 35. I mean, ideally, I'd like it to not even get that low, but we can keep it from getting below 35. That would be cool. But, so this candle is long enough to do two. And what I'm hoping to do is just cut this candle.
It just ran back in. So if we let them out, they'll just stay by the pen, running around.
Tell us what happened, Cody.
So the door was open a little bit, and those pigs got out, but one was in the pen because it couldn't fit out, and they were just staying behind the pen. They weren't trying to run away.
Not big enough, Jake. Got Jake on a mission to find me some clay pots. That's not big enough. I need the next size up.
But the pigs didn't try to run away in the woods. They didn't try to run away in the yard. I crouched down, sit down on the floor. The pigs ran to me, and I petted them. They just ran to me. Like, Father!
Now, homesteading life, you're in the middle of stuff. And animals are so dadgum crafty. They will break out. If they can get a chance to break out of their enclosures, they are freedom bound. And honestly, I don't blame them. And I would try to break out too. Anyway, let me set this up. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is measure this, and I'm going to cut it just a little bit bigger where the top of the lard is. These are very slow burning candles. And from what I've been reading, I've never tried this, but and I'm going to try not to cut through the wick. Oh, and I did it anyway. So, a lard candle, a pint-sized lard candle, is supposed to burn for somewhere near 14 hours. I'm pretty sure this is bigger than a pint. It's probably not 2 pints, but the amount in here is probably bigger than a pint for sure. So hopefully we'll have more than 14 hours. I'm going to time the start and blowout of each candle so that I can see just how long these will last. Some people might think it's weird to get a gift of a tub of lard that's in a container made for a candle, but I don't find it weird at all, and I was very grateful. I'm going to burn away some of the wax so that the wick is exposed, and then I'm just going to stick it down in here. It's warm out here. Oh, wow. Cut that way too big. That's okay. It gives me room to peel away some more of the wax. Hopefully, we get more than 14 hours out of this. But anyway, you're supposed to be able to put these under a clay pot, and it's supposed to radiate heat. Some people have videos of heat in their house. I call poop. Donkey poop. I don't believe that. I don't believe you can heat a whole house with this. However, and I'm just going to drop these in there. Won't hurt anything to add a little extra wax to it. But lard is just animal fat. Lard is melted down animal fat. And it makes a great candle, an emergency candle. You can do this in baby food jars and put a birthday candle in the middle. So I imagine this is that same thing on a bigger scale. And hopefully we'll get a lot of good heat out of this. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and measure this one, and maybe I can do a little bit better than I did with the other one. Just stick it straight down in the middle. Try to center it as much as possible. And there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and light these and burn that candle down and just see, because I've never done one of these, so I'm just curious. I'm going to burn that candle down and just see what it does. It's kind of gross. It's slimy. It's gushy. But if it'll give me 14 plus hours of heat, then that's all I really care about. I don't care if it's slimy and gushy. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and try to melt the wax away from the wick. And let these burn down. And get flushed. And hopefully it doesn't make it hotter in here than it already is. I might have to go ahead and put the shade cloth up sooner than I thought. But there's our emergency candles. And we're going to burn them flush with the lard. And then tonight I'm going to cover them with a clay pot and see just how that goes. It's new. It's new to me. If y'all have any advice, or you've done these before and you have a positive experience with it, feel free to comment and let me know what I'm doing wrong, what I should do differently, something to try that you've tried that was successful. I'm always willing to learn from other people. So it has been about 20 minutes already, and this one is almost flush. This one still has a ways to go. It's not burning very fast at all, and I'm assuming it's because it was the bottom of the candle and it's thicker. I've decided that I don't want to waste this flame time, and we can use this heat. So I'm going to go ahead and blow them both out and just use this as is tonight when we put the clay pots over the top. And I will keep you posted. We have them sitting on metal chairs so that nothing catches on fire. And they're going. It's getting dark outside. The temperature's dropping. We shut the windows and the doors. We have both of these in the center. And hopefully that'll keep it nice and warm in here. Or warm enough anyway. I'll come out here in a couple hours and see if the temperature's holding up. At least warmer in here than it is outside. Right this minute, it's already less than 70 degrees. So, but we'll see. So our current temperature outside is 60 degrees.
I'm cold.
And our current temperature in here is 60 degrees. These are still going.
I'm so cold.
And the pot is barely warm. Something's not right. My experiment is failing.
It's definitely warm right there.
Hold this guy.
All right.
I did something wrong. I don't know what. I think I would get more heat leaving it off than having it on there in the first place.
The candle is melted dough, which is sad.
Right this minute, it's like 11 o'clock at night. It's not going to get that cold out here anyway. But I was trying to see if it was warmer in here versus colder out there. I don't know. I just don't know what the deal is. Maybe the pot needs to be smaller. I don't know. I'm going to have to go do some research. I have to prepare for this weekend. I'm going to leave them burning anyway and see if when I come out in the morning it is warmer in here than it is outside in the morning. Because at midnight I turn into a pumpkin if I'm not in my bed asleep. So I will not be coming out to check on this again. But it was worth a try. I'm going to have to run an extension cord and a portable heater. Alright. Well, it was worth a shot. God, it is like 7 a.m. Just am beating the sun to peek up over the trees. And it is 42 outside. And it's warmer in here. And that's for sure. I felt a difference when I walked through the door. And it could be the sun barely peeking through. I don't know if that's the reason. I wanted to get out here a little bit sooner, but I had to take my son to work. So it is a little different. Like a 7-degree difference. That's not enough. They are still burning. Let's see how much candle it burnt up. It barely moved it. It barely touched it at all. I feel like this should have melted and went over in there to keep the wick from burning up. Oh, gross. I don't know why I do things. Give it a little more burn time. But yeah, it barely moved. Oh, I put it out. Which is fine because it's fixing to be hot as Hades in here anyway. But to touch the top of the pot, that feels pretty warm. And there's some heat coming out here. But I could literally just, well, maybe not. It's pretty hot. But the sides of it are cold. Maybe my pot is too big. Because that's just literally cold to touch. The top, though, that feels really nice. Let's see how much is left of this one. It was lit at about 5:30 p.m. And it's now 7 a.m. And it's been burning ever since. Same for that one. We do have a definite temperature change from outside to inside. It's not a whole lot. It's just a few degrees, but it was a change. So maybe I just need like 30 of these little candles and everything will work out just fine. Just wanted to take a minute and show you guys what's happening with the candles. Even though they only make a couple degrees difference, I've still been burning them at night. I've lost a couple plants through the freeze. It's been a few days now. It's been 5 days since the last video. This candle burned a total of about 48 hours. And this one has burned a total of about 56 hours. and there's still plenty left. I'm not sure what the difference is between the two, other than the one that's still burning. I used the bottom fattest half of the candle for a wick, and this one was the skinnier top half of the candle for a wick. So, if I ever did this again in the future, I would definitely only use the bottom halves of the candles, just because I think that's the reason why this one is still going. And there is a lot left in there. I would say this one will probably burn for me at least 24 more hours. I'm not saying or suggesting that you use these as a heating source for very much. Like I said, a couple of plants have been lost. Even with a heat lamp, I can only run one extension cord out here. I'm way away from my home. We're just not comfortable connecting two extension cords together. This is probably not going to make it. I'm hopeful. This guy is probably not going to make it. But there is a new growth in the middle, and these leaves are probably okay. There is new growth in the middle, so I'm not going to like pluck it out and kill it just yet. These are the ones that I teased apart in the other video. They will probably be okay. I'm going to try to give them a little water. I don't know if that's the best thing. I'm still learning. I'll let you know. If these leaves will live and this new growth will live, this leaf right here, I'll just prune it off and hopefully still have some healthy plants here. I moved these down here because the night before last, even with the candles, it just got too cold. I think it was like 27 degrees outside, and that made it still 31 degrees in here. So it was 4 degrees difference with only those candles going. But I lost a few things. I lost this tomato. Everything else looks okay. So I did run an extension cord and my handy dandy heat lamp and just moved everything down by the door. All I have is that amount of extension cord that will reach. And I think this is a 150-foot extension cord. It might be 125 feet extension cord. It's a long one. And I don't know if you guys have priced extension cords lately, but I'd really like to just use candles. But you have to do what you have to do to keep your plants alive, so you can have a flourishing garden in the future. And, you want to get a jump on things, and you don't want to let a few frost days hold you back. So the candles do work by a few degrees. I need more than 2. And I think what I'm going to do is every single one of my tables has 4 plants in the back and 2 drop down in the front. And I have this extra little space here. I think I'm going to take a piece of plywood and put it on here and make a candle for each one of these and set a candle right in the middle of every single table. There's 10 tables in here, and that will give me enough heat for sure, I believe, to keep the plants from dying in a frost. So the candles are a go if you do not have power. If you do have power, I suggest running a few heat lamps. Don't risk your plants. And I thought about this later. These guys are still in trays. I could have just brought them in my house and put them on the counter for the night. But I was so focused on the candle experiment that I didn't even think to do that. Everything else seems to be okay, except for those few plants. And like I said, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that they'll make it. These new guys that I planted directly into the bucket, they did great. So, anyway, the candles are somewhat of a success. 2 is not enough for a 10 by 32 foot high tunnel. You're gonna need at least 10, that's for sure. But, like I said, I don't suggest using these as a heat source, but if you needed them for a light source for any reason, they will produce hours and hours, days and days of light for you and your family. So it's a pretty cool experiment. It wasn't a loss out here that I don't consider this a loss. And the candles I do consider, I believe they were helpful. I believe the candles were actually helpful for just a few degrees difference. Anyway, I hope that you all enjoyed this little experiment. And again, if you have anything that you could suggest other than just more candles, I'm all down for you sharing information with me in the comments. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.